Hey everybody, it's Chase with AV Pop Culture again, and get ready because today I have a list of 10 awesome movies that you've never seen. So pop that tape in, I got you, let's go do this. Alright, so 10 awesome movies that you've never seen. This one is a wild ride from classic noir films to 80s sci-fi oddities to Euro sleaze horror, modern thrillers, even a Kevin Smith movie. Yes, we have it all. 10 movies that are awesome but very under the radar, and I'm going to let you know where you can grab each and every one of these movies or watch them and try before you buy. Let's jump right in with 1985, one of my favorites, but I'm old and I realize a lot of people might have missed My Science Project. Now, this is a hard one to get a hold to. The plot of this one is about high schoolers who encounter this strange alien, otherworldly kind of technology device, and one of them decides he's going to bring it in for his high school science project to his teacher, played by none other than Dennis Hopper. And this thing opens portals in time and to other dimensions where it unleashes cavemen, dinosaurs, futuristic chaos. Everything that you can think of is in this movie. Like I said, it's got Dennis Hopper, but it also has the very underrated John Stockwell in this movie. It kind of stands out as an awesome 80s teen sci-fi film that's sort of this kind of creepier, scarier cousin to Weird Science, which also hurt it because it was released just months after Weird Science, which overshadowed it a lot, and it kind of made it where a lot of people maybe didn't see it. But I highly recommend checking this one out. I'll see where I can find it for you on streaming. It is very tough to get a hold to on physical media right now, but My Science Project, a very fun one that a lot of people haven't seen. All right, now next up, we go back to some serious classic noir here. This is one that is still studied today in film school. I am talking about Double Indemnity from 1944. This is a Billy Wilder directed film. Now, my favorite film of his is still probably Some Like It Hot, but an insurance salesman in this one, who's played by Fred McMurray, conspires with a femme fatale who is played by the beautiful Barbara Stanwyck to murder her husband for an insurance payout. And this one is sort of the cornerstone to film noir. It everything, in the shadows. You've got moral corruption and super sharp dialogue in this film, especially for 1944 with a movie like this. Barbara Stanwyck in this role became considered the blueprint for femme fatales in Hollywood. This is just a really great foundational film that is still studied today. It's part of the Criterion Collection with a great 4K. You need to check out Double Indemnity. A lot of people haven't seen this one, but it is definitely one worth checking out. Now, next up on the list, I promised you some Euro sleaze. I promise you, you got to have a little bit of horror and a lot of fun. This one actually comes on a 3-pack recently released by Vinegar Syndrome, but we might be able to find it out there on streaming as well to try before you buy, because I highly recommend Curse of the Devil. Now, this is like a Spanish gothic horror Euro sleaze film starring Paul Naschy as Valdemar Daninsky, who is cursed to become a werewolf. But this one stands out, and I have become a big fan of Paul Naschy. But this one has this classic, like, old school Wolfman feel and atmosphere to it, but with a lot more sleaze, a lot more nudity, some seriously sultry occult, like satanic rituals in this one, gothic castles, buckets of blood, boobs, butts, and bush, everything. The joke about this, because Paul Naschy is one of those guys who wrote and directed a lot of stuff he starred in, and I always say he got every woman in the general vicinity of him to drop her panties and he just lived his best life out on screen, despite the fact he was a very committed family man. He is sort of known as the Spanish Lon Chaney because of all of the different monsters that he created and the makeup he did and stuff that he did on himself. So some of the sequences out there in any version you've been able to see until now have been cut. This, by Vinegar Syndrome, and I trust me, it is completely uncut, and what a ride. Curse of the Devil is a high recommend. Now, this next one takes us to just a few years ago, 2019. My friend Martin Kove from Karate Kid, he had just come off starring in my movie Bring Me a Dream, and he went and did VFW, and man, this one is a throwback to really kind of grindhouse siege movies, stuff like, Assault on Precinct 13, but with way more blood, I feel like. So the plot of this one is you have a group of war veterans in a VFW hall, and they fight off a horde of drugged up punks on one bloody night. The cast has William Sadler, Fred Williamson, and of course Martin Kove in here. And this one stands out because it is sort of a neon-drenched grindhouse throwback. Like I mentioned, very much you've got the old Assault on Precinct 13, almost Night of the Living Dead style, which kind of Assault on Precinct 13 was a little bit. And it sort of meets the Expendables with the action. And the director on this one insisted on practical gore effects throughout. Gallons and gallons of blood and squibs were everywhere. Martin used to say, my interest in the script is definitely tied sometimes to the amount of hemoglobin that gets on screen. There is a lot of blood in this one, but it's one that maybe flew under the radar. A lot of people didn't check out. If you're not sure, it sort of fits in that grindhouse horror-y kind of survival horror action, and VFW is worth the ride. All right, next up, I promised you some Kevin Smith, and this is the one. This is a very new film of his. It's so new that I had even missed it myself until very recently. I picked up this 4K steelbook of the 430 movie. Now, this is a very cool looking steelbook. This one's full of nostalgia here, right down to the steelbook looking like a VHS tape, which is just super duper cool. This looks like a VHS cover, all that. Very cool. And this movie doesn't stop there. It hits the nostalgia notes because it's set back in like the 1980s. Some of us were there. We dug them. And he also Kevin Smith brings in a lot of nostalgia by bringing in some actors that you recognize from like teen movies and his movies as you grew up. Like you got Rosario Dawson in here, Jason Biggs, Justin Long, just to name a few. But the movie centers around a group of 16-year-olds who always kind of hang out at the movie theater in this small town, the cinema. They sneak in when they shouldn't. They just spend a lot of time watching movies, hanging out, talking on the phone, sneaking into films, eating popcorn, and just living the life that you would have in the 1980s. And it's very nostalgic. And you can tell one of the kids, the main character, is sort of a stand-in for Kevin Smith. And when he finally gets the nerve to ask a girl that he likes to a movie, they are going to try to go see a R-rated movie, and the self-important cinema owner kind of foils the plans, and from there just one calamity after the other happens. It hits all those nostalgic notes of 80s and sort of movie theater culture and stuff that I miss so much. Not the greatest movie in the world, but it's just packed with nostalgia that takes you back. And for that reason, I really recommend at least one time checking out the 430 movie. Next up on the list is 2016's Autopsy of Jane Doe. This movie, which is actually released by Scream Factory, you can get the Blu-ray, is one of the movies. I did a video a long time ago, the movies that actually scared me, and I'm going to revisit that during spooky season. This movie genuinely, as a horror filmmaker and writer myself, this movie genuinely scared me. The plot here is that you have a father-son coroner team who, have like this funeral home, and they investigate a mysterious female corpse, a Jane Doe, and discover that she is literally hiding in some very spooky ways a bunch of supernatural secrets that you start to unfold as the film goes. And that father and son team is played just incredibly by Brian Cox and Emile Hirsch. And you've got Olwen Kelly. I think that's how you say her name, is Olwen. Forgive me if I'm wrong. She's actually playing the eerie corpse throughout this movie. It really stands out from a just deeper, sprawling, inward on itself supernatural mystery that keeps getting more and more terrifying. And it's very claustrophobic because it's a single location horror with just tons of atmosphere, tons of suspense, and very shocking reveals that pay off big time. The lead actress, Olwen Kelly, she performed most of that corpse stuff by herself, laying on the table nude for days. And that is not as easy as you think. Even Stephen King said, see it, but not alone. A lot of people, I realized when I did my list on movies that scared me, have never seen this. It is a super high recommend. All right, now next up on the list, we have some fun, cheesy, just absolutely over-the-top, ridiculous 80s horror. And I love that, but a lot of people may not have seen 1989's Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge. I have the Blu-ray release here by Arrow Video, and this one's long out of print. I think you can maybe still get just the standard version that comes inside here, but we might find where you can watch this on streaming because everyone should check this out. The plot on this one is you have a recently burned and disfigured and thought to be dead man who haunts a shiny new shopping mall that's basically built over his house, and he decides he is going to take revenge on everyone who wronged him. Now you're going to see a lot of very famous faces in this, including Pauly Shore in one of his earliest roles. He is by no means the biggest name in this film, but it stands out because it is just dripping with 80s mall culture mixed with a slasher vibe in true neon campy fashion that you would have just loved to have found in your mom and pop rental store and, you know, a VHS and brought it home and discovered it on a Friday or Saturday night in the late 80s, early 90s. This would be that kind of gem. This recent release, though, kind of elevated it to a cult status, so maybe more of you have seen this, but if you have not, Phantom of the Mall, if you're a fan of 80s horror movies at all, this is a very fun recommend and one that a lot of people haven't seen. All right, we got just 3 left, and while none of these are really in order, they kind of are. Definitely the number one, I think, is maybe the most must-watch on this list. But this one is a lot of fun, and it is a sort of a hidden Arnold Schwarzenegger film. Believe it or not, I'm talking 2017's Killing Gunther. This one is one that even me as a huge Arnold fan, I missed upon its initial release. The plot here is you have a group of assassins who set out to kill the world's top hitman, Gunther, who's played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's done very mockumentary style, which kind of makes it stand out. Arnold is doing comedy and action, and he's sort of parodying himself and his whole action hero image. It stars a great cast. Besides Arnold, you've got Colby Smulders in here. The director, who I believe is her husband, is Taron Killam. This movie is fun, but it was shot very quickly in that mockumentary style, and a lot of people who worked on the film were not actually in scenes with Arnold. His stuff was shot very quickly and separate as much as possible to get him in and get him out. He is very expensive, but when you see it, he is in this movie so much. It is very impressive how they did it, and it is a lot of fun, and you can tell that he is absolutely having a ball with it. Killing Gunther, a very fun recommend. All right, we have at number 2 a hidden gem from none other than the great Marty Scorsese. I am talking about After Hours. Man, you've got 80s excess to the max in here. This is a hidden gem from Martin Scorsese, released on beautiful 4K by the Criterion Collection. and it kind of stands out because it's sort of a hidden, lost, forgotten gem in Scorsese's filmography. It was done during a kind of downtime after he did The Last Temptation of Christ, and that wasn't really kind of going well. It was kind of delayed. This movie sort of reignited his passion, or at least he said it did. It's very fun. It's very surreal, paranoid. It is a weird, stylish mashup that is very, very 80s. The plot on this one is you have this mild-mannered guy, and he gets into a late night spirals. This set of events spirals into this like Kafka-esque nightmare that causes him to stumble through one bizarre misadventure after the other. The cinematography is gorgeous in this. You got New York City, so you've got at nighttime, which I love. It's lit up. You've got all this neon from the 80s and these fluorescent lights and these building lights, and it's wet and rainy and it reflects off the streets, and just gorgeous cinematography here. It almost feels like a little bit in some of those scenes like Michael Mann's Thief, which is another good hidden gem as far as the cinematography and the wet and the neon and the reflecting lights and all. Just, man, as someone that loves things lit up and as a cinematographer myself and director, that is just gold. It looks so good. And this movie, lots of famous cast members in here. A hell of a crazy ride you will not forget through a Colombian Bam Bam fueled night in the 1980s. After Hours, a hidden gem. Check it out. And that just leaves one film, and this is one that I just rewatched myself last night. This is a recent release. You can get this one from Screen Factory or Arrow Video on 4K. I think you can stream it, but we will find out. I'll try to put the links to all that stuff down here in the description. But no matter what, do not go on continuing to miss having seen The Gift by Sam Raimi. Holy crap. This movie was so much better than I remembered, and I had not seen it since the theater. Now, I ran to see it when it came out back in 2000 because it's supposed to be set in rural Georgia, and I myself am from Georgia, so I thought that was a cool factor. But the cast in this is insane. You've got Keanu Reeves playing a great heavy, a bad guy in here. Kate Blanchett, Katie Holmes, Hilary Swank, Giovanni Ribisi, Greg Kinnear. You've got J.K. Simmons in this movie. Man, the cast just goes on and on as you're in this film. And it's about a psychic woman in a small Georgia town, and she's pulled into a murder mystery after having visions. And this one has a very heavy supernatural element to this. It stands out because of that supernatural element, but it blends that with a Southern Gothic atmosphere and all those supernatural thriller elements that become very, very real and very much more prominent as the film goes. Now, it's also well known because Katie Holmes is nude several times in this film. That's just a byproduct, a bonus, but this film is absolutely great. The screenplay here, a little bit of trivia, was actually co-written by Billy Bob Thornton, and it was inspired by his mother's real-life psychic abilities. That just adds a whole other layer to it. I cannot recommend this movie enough. I was sitting here last night. This made me want to do this list. I was sitting here enthralled by this film. If you like horror, if you like crime thrillers, any of that stuff, Southern Gothic, very atmospheric films, small town films, it is all wrapped up in The Gift. Super high recommend. I would recommend you checking this thing out. 4K streaming, Arrow Video, Screen Factory, pick it up. I'll put links below. And that is the list of 10 awesome movies that you've never seen, or maybe you just forgotten. They slipped under the radar a little bit. From sci-fi 80s teen movies to Southern Gothic murder mysteries filled with supernatural edge to hidden Scorsese gems. This movie list proves that cinema has a movie for every single mood that you're in if you just catch them and don't continue missing some of those out there that are worth checking out. But which one of these caught your eye? Let me know. Please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. If you'd like to support the channel, you can join at my Patreon. I want to thank all my Patreon members. Right now is a big push because I'm going to do a bunch of 4K reviews, special videos, all kinds of stuff on my Patreon. There is a discount code below. If you want to click the link to my Patreon, it is new25 and you get 25% off of your membership over at Patreon. Exclusive 4K reviews, uncensored videos, special spooky season content, on and on and on. So much to do over there, and I thank you all. It helps the channel so much, but liking and subscribing is a free and easy way to help this channel grow. Over 3 million views today in just over 1 year, and the sky is the limit, and I have you to thank for it. But until next time, be kind, rewind like always. This is Chase with AV Pop Culture, and I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.